Hey y'all, Niiamah Ashong here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We're here on the Outliers Edge Roundtable, where we really explore how outliers out there are consistently up-leveling their game and bringing more of who they are to increase their income, their impact, and their integrity as they and their businesses and their impact continue to grow. So I brought on five incredible leaders and outliers for you to hear about their journeys, but also about their real world, real time experiences. We focus here on experience more than expertise in this space here. And there's a reason for it because they are and you are continuously growing. You've done it your way. I cannot wait to showcase and explore more about how others have done it. Let's start off here with you getting to know our esteemed, I like saying that word, this fun, uh, our esteemed roundtable participants today. We'll start off with Ross and then we'll go to Nicole.
Hey, excuse me, my throat is a little messed up today. I was celebrating Mexico's independence with my wife. She's Mexican,
Nice.
so we had a big parade, and I was yelling and cheering and stuff like that. I just love to see the patriotism and the pride in their country and everything. It was just really cool to see that. But I'm the host of Real Talk with RJ. It's a podcast that basically focuses on not being political, not being religious, but like just really getting down to the meat and potatoes of actual subjects. Um, I like to help people grow and help people improve the society around them rather than just themselves. But if in order to do that, it's important for us to start with ourselves because I can't clean someone else's house until mine is clean. And it's important for that concept to be acknowledged because it's also hypocritical to try to tell somebody how to improve their life and live their life when you haven't done the steps yourself. I believe the greatest way to make money is to not focus on making money, but to focus on a passion on helping somebody. Finding a problem, finding that solution will actually result in a lot of money coming in your way. But if you're focused on making money, you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities because your heart and focus is in the wrong place, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, that's a great way for us to get started. Thank you so much for being here, Ross. We'll go to Nicole and then we'll go to Lisa.
I totally agree with what you just said, Ross. And it's like once I let that go, the money making part of it, I let it go. You just like, law of attraction, it's gone and then it comes to you. So it's really interesting to hear you say that. My name is Nicole Sandalis. I am the host of a podcast called Revive. I am actually going to do season two and I'm going to rebrand and it's going to be a little different. And I'm hoping to interview entrepreneurs on that and kind of base it around bravery, taking the steps in the right direction, putting yourself out there, all of that fun stuff as entrepreneurs that we do. But right now it is called Revive, and I named it that because like a lot of us, have gone through insecurities and comparison and some previous past experiences that led us to do our own inner healing. And I have a lot to say about it, first of all. And so I thought, why not start a podcast that is based on personal development and wellness and share my own experiences. So hopefully it turns into something relatable for other people. And I do just believe that we should never feel bad about where we were. I believe we need to focus on where we're going and who we're becoming. So that is the gist of that. And yeah, I've scaled it, I've grown it. I think what makes me stand out is that there's no, like, I don't hold back. So there's some stuff on there. I think that brings I share my own unique perspective and
Yeah.
storytelling. And I think the vulnerability aspect from a leadership standpoint is really important.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. I'm glad you do it. And I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much, Nicole. We'll go to Lisa, then Chasa.
Hi, I'm Lisa Jacovsky. I am an award-winning children's book author with the platform of not just autism, but special needs. I have children's books about special needs cats as well as my original series that's about autism and friendship. And I am the host of No Limits with Lisa. And I interview individuals and organizations making a difference as a way to not just showcase them, but connect them with families because especially here in Jersey, not much is told to the families about resources and things their child can do to help them reach their potential. It's very, very difficult on the family. And if we have a way to connect them to resources or just to inspire them and show them that their child isn't limited, then it does so much for the family. And I also have my children's books about special needs cats, which has become very, very popular and amazing because individuals and families didn't know that cats had special needs. So now I'm able to donate proceeds from those to special needs cat rescues, which is bringing more awareness to them as well. So yeah.
Lisa, it's a pleasure to be here. I grew up in South Jersey, so like I have that there going on.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, from
yeah.
Central Jersey. That's
Oh,
awesome.
well, thank you for being here, Lisa. We're gonna have a lot of fun here in today's conversation. Thanks for bringing awareness to something that like I honestly did not even know that was there. So thanks for playing that game. So we'll go to Tchassa, and then we'll go to Emmanuel, and then we'll keep going from there.
Yes, yeah, as well. I had no idea that this existed, so I'm looking forward to hearing more about that. And my name is Tchassa Kamga. I moved to the US in 2018. It's my home now, and I've gone through my own story, like Nicole and like Ross. I'm married, and so a lot of the things that I've had to deal with in my life have informed what I talk about in my podcast, my YouTube channel, or even the poetry collection that I published a couple of years ago. So a lot of my work has to do with helping people see the beauty in what they struggled with. For example, after going through a divorce, moving to a new country. So I've been able to use some of those instances to then talk about my lessons, especially my faith and how that has helped me to move past that. So by day, I work as a Salesforce admin, but by any other time that is not day, I'm producing content, as TikTok, YouTube, on the podcast about personal development, about gaining perspective, especially because I see a lot of people who move to the US and have a glazed view of what life is here, and I'm trying my best to inform people and tell them, hey, this is not what it looks like on TV or in the news. Here's what it looks like in the real world when it comes to relationships, when it comes to money, when it comes to building a life of faith. So a lot of what I talk about is really learning from my perspective, recommending books and other people like you all here to share different things that people can use to not make certain mistakes. I really believe that everybody will make mistakes at some level, but it's pointless to waste those mistakes. So let's make the mistakes that we have to make, not unnecessary ones.
Oh, I love this. Let's not like it's pointless to waste the mistakes there. And Outliers, I want to just put that into perspective. If you're trying to avoid making mistakes, we can also look into it and be like, hey, why don't you make the mistake, but then don't waste it. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well said.
Emmanuel, bring us home. Let us get to know you.
Okay, I totally agree with what Chaza said about making mistakes because, yeah, most people see mistakes to be something very, very terrible, something you shouldn't do. But most often, it's important you make mistakes because I believe that the more mistakes you make, the closer you get to achieving that particular goal you're trying to achieve. But, well, talking about my podcast, Business Talk with Umoh, is basically a podcast for business owners, entrepreneurs, and startups to help them with a lot of the unimaginable things behind the scene that they are not really seeing. Because in business, especially when you're online in this time and age, you see all the flashy things, you see people making billions and millions of dollars. You are not seeing the struggle, you're not seeing the grinds behind that whole flashy part of it. But there is a behind the scene. And so that's what I try to do. And what I'm looking forward to transform the podcast to be is an environment like this where I bring in experts and people who have actually done the work, seen result, to come on board and help us with different strategies. Because as long as having a business goes, depending on the industry, there are different plays that can be used to achieve the result of scaling and actually reaching that point where you feel, okay, I have arrived. And I think I can also say I went through a business phase, because owning a business is not just registering the business name and having a flashy logo. It's all about how do I get what I am trying to sell in the hands of the people I want to sell it to. Until that happens, you haven't gotten the business. And until someone uses your product and said, I love it, I'm going to come back for it, you have not gotten a sustainable business. So trying to make sure I help business owners know what's obtainable and how they can get there is my ultimate goal. I appreciate it because I started a business in my earlier years, which actually failed within 1 year. It was not registered, it was not properly structured. And after that failure, I felt like, oh man, what did I do? It was frustrating that it actually stopped me from moving forward in terms of business aspect for a while. So when I recovered from that, because I actually lost a lot of money during that bankruptcy process, I lost a lot of money and I owed a lot of money during that time. After going through all the pain and paying all my debts and coming out back, and I started a new business and I started running it, getting coaching and mentoring, I realized that yes, it's not okay to try to do it alone when we can get valid information from someone who have done it and actually seen result in order to avoid that mistake. Like Charles said, you make the mistake, but yet there are ways to avoid it. So if there are ways, explore it, use it, let it be your shortcut. So basically, that's what I do for businesses, and that's what I look forward to achieve.
Well, let's bring that into today's conversation here. I appreciate all of you for playing here. I feel like there's a vulnerability and authenticity and a realness to each of you that honestly just lights me up, and I think it's going to make for a really great conversation. Oh, Emmanuel just talked about not seeing the struggle and not seeing behind the scenes. So that's going to be coming up in today's conversation here. I think we should give some space to that. Let's start off with the side of mistakes. And with mistakes here, I want to get into how you all look at what you all have learned as you've done your business. And the question I'm going to put to you here, I asked it at one time. I thought it was really telling, actually. What's a belief that you had about business that you no longer believe to be true? Like something that you thought like, hey, this is how things have to be. And then at least for you, maybe it's true for everyone else, but for you, you're like, it ain't true for me. I'd like to start off here with Ross, and then let's go to Lisa, and then anyone else that has something, just let us know.
That's a that's a really good question because a lot of people believe that the most hungry person is the person that gets the job or gets to win. I would actually substitute that with the most passionate person because like you can see like anyone who's ever done a corporate job, you know the butt kissers that get promoted because they're the butt kissers, and then you know the people that really know their stuff. They in their free time they're studying their job, they're learning their passion. Like Lisa, she did her homework and she really knows about autism and special needs, and she even knows subjects that a lot of us don't even know existed. So it's like understanding the passion behind something makes you more well-rounded, and then the butt kissers come to you asking you for questions, and then other people that are really in charge start seeing that, wait, how come this person always goes to this individual? And then guess what? At the right time and the right point, you will be the one that they put in charge. And if they don't, someone else will see that, and then you'll end up in the right place. So the passionate person is a person, or excuse me, the most passionate person will get it over the hungriest person. Because sometimes hunger and passion just don't align.
Ooh, yeah, thanks for bringing that in here. Lisa.
I 100% agree with you, Ross. You know, it's something I tell my students all the time because I had a student say to me last semester, she's like, I want to be you. And I'm like, that is the most flattering thing you can say to me because like I've struggled a lot, you know, and becoming a children's book author, that was a dream I had since I was a kid. And I never thought it would happen. You know, like growing up, I was always not told, but you know, you see things on TV. Because my family always supported me, but you always see things where they say like, you need an MBA, you need this background, you need that background. And starting my own business as an author, it took a lot of research, and it's a dream. It's a total passion. And it's what led me into so many incredible collaborations and networking and friendships. And without that passion, like Ross was talking about, without wanting to really do this, it wouldn't have grown to where it is. I just published my 10th book 2 weeks ago. You know, it's just
Yeah,
insane.
let's acknowledge that.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's insane. And I never would have thought I would have written books about special needs cats. And it's just so beautiful and amazing. And it's a passion. And, you know, you're not going to make money right away. It takes time. Everybody's timeline is different, you know, and just letting that stop you or letting you think that, hey, I need this kind of background or I need an MBA to start a business. I think that's what's very limiting and stops people. You know, I did a lot of research, but I never would have thought 4 years ago I'd be where I am when it comes to my books. And it's because of that passion, because of that drive. You know, and I tell my students all the time, don't let anybody minimize or stop you from going after your dream. I work full time and my books are, you know, on the side. it's part-time right now. Same with my podcast. Another thing I never thought I would have. That started off totally different and morphed, but it was the best thing that could have absolutely happened. And I absolutely love having my own business. I love being a children's book author, and I love the impact that it makes. That's the most important and special thing to me, and I enjoy it. And I think we just need to encourage people and remind them that, hey, if you want to do something, go do it. Don't ever let anything limit you. Don't let anything you see on TV or anything somebody says to you, stop you from going and figuring out how to do it. My belief is there's always a way. So that's what I go by, and that's what, I think is the best thing.
Yeah, well, let's keep playing with this here. Thank you, Lisa. Like I'm seeing some nods here, some vigorous ones. I want to keep this open, so feel free to unmute your mic if you have anything you want to add to this. Emmanuel, for some reason, I am drawn to you on this one. Nicole, I just saw you there. I'm going to go with Emmanuel, and then let's go to Nicole right afterwards. But what's a belief that you had about business that you ended up now realizing, like, for you, there's something else that's true?
Yeah, the belief I actually had about business that is no longer true for me is the fact that you can grow your business while working a 9 to 5 to a very high scalable level. I always find it easy to think, okay, I think I can do this, because starting my business, Chimney Global, back in my country, Nigeria, I was working a 9 to 5 and I was doing it. But later on, I regretted that action, because there were certain moves I should have made. There were certain events I should have attended. There were certain coaching sessions I should have gone to. But because of my 9 to 5, I couldn't achieve that. And at the end of the day, I must admit, it affected my growth deeply. Now, so to some persons, they might find a way to say, yes, it depends on the level you are, you can do it. But the kind of attention your business needs when it reaches a particular level of growth is not that kind of attention where you'll be working for someone else and trying to grow that far. You won't be able to do it. So right now, I believe that if you get to that place, your intention when working a 9 to 5 and owning a business should be, okay, let my 9 to 5 sustain this business to a certain level. And when it's that point, it reaches that point, I need to move out and face it and make it scale. Because if we're talking about scale, there are levels you cannot scale while working for someone. You need to give it attention. Just like your baby, it gets to a point you need to look at that child, else tomorrow you might just come back and not realize your child. Like, who are you? Because you didn't give it the attention it needed, or he or she needed at that point. So I believe there are stages in business you will need to give it attention that you can't give if you are working a 9 to 5 and running that business.
Yeah, thank you for that. There's a moment when you asked that there was like a bit of recognition or something in the outliers here in the conversation. So thanks for that, Emmanuel. Nicole, love to hear your thoughts on this.
I think the biggest mistake the thought that I had with my business that it was a mistake that I realized is not really a mistake, was thinking, well, the mistake I made was thinking everything had to be perfect before I executed. So podcasting, for example, like I didn't have the best technology. I don't know, like I was using GarageBand. I have a photo of myself recording my first episode in my bathroom of my apartment with like pillows on my lap, just trying to get it out there, right? And I was like, oh, but I'm not good enough. I had the negative self-talk and thinking like the perfectionism, thinking that everything had to be perfect before I even executed, when it's just not true. And all that leads to is, I think, like analysis paralysis. So I start overthinking and I'm like excessively evaluating, and then I'm procrastinating. I'm just not doing anything. And then I'm so frustrated because I have all these ideas and I have all these plans and all these things I want to do, but I'm the only one like holding me back. And I think it really just stems from the fear of failure. And it's very scary to put yourself out there. And it prevents us from taking the calculated risks that we take as entrepreneurs. And if we're too perfectionistic, then we're not going to think of new approaches. It just kind of clouds our vision. And that is the point, right? And I think that's a good leader, is you have the vision and you're just open and flowing and empowering, instead of it being so rigid. And I think that's the biggest mistake I made, was thinking that it had to be perfect before I just started.
All right, we're gonna play with some of these here. Y'all are good. Y'all like sprinkle in little things. I'm like, oh, we can go down here. We can go check this out a little bit. We're gonna have a robust conversation. Thank you so much for that, Tchassa. Why don't you bring us together on this question here? What's a belief that you used to have that like no longer serves you?
I'll even take a step back by saying Nicole's belief is something that I'm still struggling with right now. Like trying to not be perfect. I think it's an ongoing process of, yes, I know I should go ahead, even though it's not perfect, but I keep holding myself back sometimes. And I'm just lucky that
We'll chat later.
yeah, I'm just lucky that I have like my wife to be like, hey, no, just go ahead. Like you can do this. And you have all these things. And she would like list all the accomplishments and everything. And so there's that. But I wrote two things down here, which may not necessarily tie to business specifically, which one of the beliefs that I've let go of, which is that your family needs to be supportive of your business. In the beginning, I thought when I put out a podcast or a piece of content, my siblings would share, my parents would share and all that. And I'd be like, why are you guys not sharing my content? Why are you not buying my book? What's going on? In the beginning I used to feel bad about that. And I'd feel discouraged by it. But then over time, now I get it. It's like, well, they are not my customers. They are not the people I'm making this for. They probably don't even understand what I'm doing because I can't want them to enjoy something that they clearly don't. It's like making a meal. You could make your favorite meal for someone. If they don't like it, they don't like it. It's not, they don't have a problem with you. It's not a personal thing. So that's one belief I've had to let go of people who don't support me. It's not because they don't like me. Sure. Is there a percentage of people who do that? Yes, but it's so minimal that it's insignificant. So that's one. And the second one, which I think the biggest one for me, is that hard work guarantees success. It's a belief that I used to have, like, oh, if I work hard, if I do all the books, if I read everything, then I'll be successful. But over time, I'm finding out, and one big word I'm learning and really realizing, it's leverage. There are people who don't have to work that hard, people who don't have to have that much money to be successful if you understand the points of leverage in your business. So that's what I would like to share.
Oh yeah, Ross, go with it.
Tchassa made a really interesting point. Um, I I wrote a book as well. It's called Soul Guardian by R.J. Kurtz. It's a vampire book with an angle that's never been done before. And my mother and my younger brother, they're not big readers, but they read it and they said they couldn't put it down. Every one of my friends and everybody I know that's read it has said they couldn't put it down. They absolutely love it. But my wife, she's not a reader, and she's read like maybe the first three chapters, and she just does not like to read. But she goes, "Babe, I love it. You could read it to me." And I'm like, that's not the point. But no, it's cool. I do get that. And I also have learned that in a lot of instances, it's unfortunate, but it's a reality that in a lot of instances, when you're very successful or you actually move out, like if that book was the number one seller, that's when you'll start finding a lot of your family going, oh yeah, they that's my brother, that's my sister, that's my son, that's my mother. She wrote that. Like, where when I sold three copies, how come you weren't doing that? It's just weird. Like when you really make it, that's when you start finding your family's proud of you and they want to start doing it. But like that's where that passion really comes in. You have to really ultimately you have to do it because you want to do it. And you have to believe in your product and say, this is the best product you could possibly get. Not just because I read it or I wrote it or I created it or helped make it, but because it's from my heart and I know it. That's why I made it. I did it because I knew what it could do for you, and that's what you have to like help the other readers or listeners see.
Yeah, like Outliers, we're having this conversation. Chelsea, I see you over here. Y'all do something new. I think we're getting to a place where we're flowing. So feel free to play with this. One of the things I'm going to ask you, Outliers, is to think right now of a belief that you currently have for your business of for yourself, and put that into this space here, right? Say it out loud wherever you are. Yes, like be courageous enough to just utter it. But like, what's the belief you have? And ask yourself, is this belief actually serving me or not? And see how we can continue to play with that along the way. That whole thing about the family and they're not your customers. Like, I just needed to hear that again. Like, I know it, but like sometimes you just need to hear it. And so Chelsea, I'm glad you brought that in. Any other thoughts on this before we move on here? Chelsea, I saw you had unmuted earlier. Is there anything else? And I see you, Emmanuel, as well. So Chelsea, Emmanuel, definitely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Emmanuel. I just wanted to agree with Ross. I think it's a mindset that has held me back, and just being in the position now where I can look at things like, especially when putting out content now, I have to believe in what I'm putting out first. I have to know that what I'm sharing, it's helpful to somebody. And I think there's a level of detachment that comes with the outcome when you put it out there knowing this is helpful And once you put it out, you move on to the next thing. So it's not running away or trying to like be on the treadmill. It's more of, I'm making the best that I can make. I know I've put in my heart in this, and that's it. That's what I can do. So I'll just add that.
Okay, what I just wanted to add earlier on was what Tchassa said about leveraging, because a lot of us have that problem. We might admit it, we might not, but we always thinking we need to work hard for us to actually get good, big results. But yeah, it is one part of business that we should also remember now that it's very important. If you have a way of leveraging on anything, please do not waste your time trying to be a hard worker. Rather, focus on being a smart worker. This is a concept that I've realized is revolutionizing the world. Whether we like it or not, it is. I'm going to give you one quick example. I've been dealing with my LinkedIn impression a lot for a long time, and I've been posting. I was like, what's the problem? And I would just keep posting myself every day. They say, okay, you should post regularly. And I kept doing that. I kept doing it. It wasn't working. And then I just decided to just hire someone to handle it for me. And the first post the lady posted on my platform, LinkedIn, got like 2,000 impressions. That was the first time I was like, what did you do that I didn't do, right? So sometimes we are not just good. We don't know the tactics. We don't know the tricks. There's someone else who is good at it. Just leverage that growth process and move on. Focus on what you are good at, amplify on that aspect, and multiply it. Just give what you can handle to someone who can handle it. This is the fastest way of growing, I have come to say. Try to leverage all the resources you can leverage on and move faster instead of trying to say, I want to be a hard worker, I'll be the copywriter, I want to be the content creator, I want to be this. Then you do everything and you're not going nowhere. So that was my point there.
Oh, fantastic. Nicole, Lisa, anything else you want to say in this part of the conversation? I see you, Nicole, and then Lisa, I think you both have something to say. Let's bring it.
I think I love that you just said that, Emmanuel, because when you asked about the like what is a belief we have, the first thing that came to my mind is like community and collaboration is everything. So example, what we're doing right now, right? We're all getting fired up. It's going to take us, we all know we need a shift every once in a while to just propel us into the next level of creating. And I think that's really it, is knowing when to ask for help, knowing when to utilize those that are in your community, knowing when to just chat with someone for feedback. Right now, my podcast is very, it's monologue-y from my perspective. And what I want to do is just start interviewing people. So I like, and entrepreneurs and creators, and I'm going to call it That's Brave of You. And it's going to be all about their stories. And I think that's going to just reach so many more people and have such a greater impact than if I continue doing it by myself.
Lisa, I'm coming to you in just a second with Nicole. I feel like a news person. I'm like, did we just get a scoop? Did she just drop the name of what this podcast is going to be? You heard it here first, Outliers. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but Nicole, I appreciate it because when you introduced yourself earlier, you were saying like, "Oh, I'm going to do this." Like your language was very different. Whereas now, I'm hearing you in this conversation, stepping into this. I'm like, okay, great. Like I know what to look out for. You've told me what to be in. So just thank you for that. There,
Beautiful.
awesome. Yeah, Lisa.
I think for me, a big belief is just taking chances, and also just knowing your limits when it comes to taking chances, being an author, it's all about marketing. It's all about social media. And I understand where Emmanuel was coming from too, because I'm not the best with social media. I'm not like on very often, and I'm not the best at coming up with content. So, it's just figuring out how do you do that in a way that works for you and works and for what you understand. And there's different platforms that will post one thing and you can schedule it on multiple social medias. So once I got that, it was like life-changing. It helped tremendously. And then I could just share it on mine, which helps so much, and then I've learned too, just to like say yes to as many things as I can. But even with that, yesterday I text my family and I'm like, should I do this festival or not? My mom's like, take the chance, you don't know till you'll try. But then I'm thinking about like plans and I'm like, I can sign up for a festival every weekend to do for my books, knowing that's where they sell the most and that's where I excel, meeting people. But if I'm burned out and exhausted, it doesn't do anything to help my brand. So I think for me, it's just about, taking chances that come at you that you think are going to promote you, but also doing your research and figuring out what's going to help you work smarter instead of harder and fit your life and your style. Because I don't work a typical 9 to 5. I'm a professor. So I'm working hybrid right now, which is amazing and helps, but do I still want to go and figure out all this content? Or I just had an author I'm collaborating with make a reel for me because I'm old and I'm like, how do you make a reel? Still figuring that out. My students, thank God, are really cute and helpful, right, Ross? Like you have to ask the younger generation now at this point. So thank God for my students. They help me.
Passion keeps you young.
What?
Passion
As
keeps
long
you
as you're
young.
dreaming.
It does, 100%, right? And
Yeah.
that's a great way to network and collab. So,
Yeah, you
ask
have
for
to make
help when
sure.
you need it.
I was going to say, you have to make sure it's a demure reel. So just saying.
Yes, it has to be, like a specific kind of like way of doing a reel. And they have QR codes now because people want to scan things instead of linking. So it's just like all these things that you got to go and learn. But once you do and figure it out, it makes your life so much easier.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all bringing in like and playing with the element of leverage here, right? Because I often say like, how do you leverage who you are, right? To the point of like for me, I'm a leader, so generally speaking, I'm like I want to get other people together, like that's generally and I, like and get things done through them. So as we're talking about this here, outliers, I want you to take for yourself and be like, where are the places that you can leverage, right? Emmanuel, you said something that I thought was like very nuanced, but it was also very casual when you said it. You're like, basically, it came out to like find however you can leverage it, right? And like originally it seemed like it was about people, like hire people, but it's like if you can leverage your thoughts, if you can leverage your times, like I want you outliers as you're thinking about this, y'all have gotten here because you do things differently. Don't get yourself caught thinking of whatever leverage is, quote unquote, has to look like other people or how it is traditionally done. Like Emmanuel gave us a lot of room to play with on that. Thank you for that. Thanks for bringing this in here. I'm glad we're having this conversation. Oh, I'm torn here. We're gonna probably have like time to go into like one more good one because y'all have something to say. So it's like let's just keep going with it. I think the way we're gonna go. All right. Let's talk about what y'all are working on now, what you're bringing in now, because I think there's something about our things in the past that actually provide a little bit of safety, and like most of those outliers out here, we're like, oh, well, we're walking down a path that no one else has walked, or at least none of the people around us has walked. And as Tchassa is reminding us, we're not looking for our family to come and support us. So like, how do we keep walking that, right? So I'd love for you to talk about something right now, like a project you're taking on that scares you, a project takes you on that scares you. And typically what I find is that when we're for us here, if we're taking on a project that scares us, there's also something about it that excites us, or that's also a place that there's growth in it. But I'd like for you to talk about a project that scares you and how you are like navigating, like how you're navigating it this time around, how you're approaching that there. All right. Does anyone feel called to bring something in around that? I see you, Tchassa, and then I see you, Lisa.
Yes. It's definitely up my alley because I know I didn't mention this in the beginning, but I also have a course that I teach. It's the work that I do, what I do as a Salesforce admin. I'm helping people who want to transition into that. So apart from the content creation and TikTok and all that, I'm also helping people who want to leave from whatever they're doing for work right now and get into the tech space. And the fear for me is people risking their money to take a career path that would affect not just them, but their families. So someone essentially signs up saying, hey, I'm going to trust you for the next 3 months, next 6 months to help me change the course of my life. And that's a pretty big deal. So it tests my competence. It tests my ability to teach. And what I'm finding out is you may have an understanding of the platform, but translating that to someone else, encouraging them, motivating them, keeping them up to task, that's a whole different ballgame. And I have my next class coming up in October because people have been asking for a class and I'm just pushing it away like, oh, no, I'm not going to do this. I don't want to do it. It's really just me being scared of it. Like, I don't want to have that responsibility on someone's life. And so that's one thing I'm working on. I know I have a hard start for October. I have people who are waiting to sign up. And now what I'm learning to do is to use my previous experience because I have one student who got a job recently and that was really exciting for me. It's like, okay, it works. All right, I have results. I have someone who's actually doing it. It's working for her. How can I make sure that this happens for more people? So when you ask a question about something I'm scared of, I'm definitely scared of that. And I'm also excited because this is a mother of three. She's been without a job for a while, and she was taking her classes every day. We were meeting every week, and she really wanted to get a job. And so to get her to the point of getting that was very exciting for me, to get that outcome that I had hoped for like 3 months ago. So yeah, long story short, I'm looking forward to it, but also I'm not.
Thank you, Chelsea. Thank you for stepping in and bringing us out into the discomfort zone on this in here. Lisa.
I'm working on 2 collaborations with 2 authors, and one of them, I don't know this author from anybody else. I've been working with her for the past 2-3 weeks, and she just messaged me randomly on TikTok. It was completely out of the blue, you know, so I was like, yeah, sure, let's go for it. I'm very easygoing, flexible. I'm like, you take the reins, let's do it. And her books are amazing, I found out, and she's really smart. So it's been really awesome, really enjoyable. And she actually wrote her book, which made her part of the book, which gave me anxiety, but lit a fire under me. So it was very interesting and flattering to be asked, but also nerve-wracking because I don't have a relationship with this girl. Now I do from working with her. So, you know, that scared me, and it's turning into something really, really awesome because I wrote my part of it, and I'm very excited for our collab to come out. And then yesterday, an author that I do know, have a relationship with, and highly respect and adore, shocked me and asked me to collab with him. And I emailed him, and he's like, what topics could we do? And I'm like, uh-oh. I kind of just gave her the reins. So I'm like, all right, now I really have to think. So that kind of like made me nervous, excited too, because I'm like, oh my gosh, he wants to collab with me? Like, he's amazing. So that's very, very exciting, very brand new, but very like new to me, collaborating with other authors, different styles, you know, trying to make it work and see what we can do to kind of bring more awareness, more positivity. So that's 2 things I'm working on right now that were nerve-wracking, but are turning out to be probably one of the best things I could have said yes to and done. So I'm excited.
Thank you. Thank you for continuing to grow. I'm excited to hear about this and share it out with Outliers once it gets done. Ross, let's hear from you. We're going to be starting to wrap things up after this year, but I want to hear, like, Ross, bring it in. Yeah.
One of the things that I'm actually preparing for right now is I'm planning on starting law school, and it's a very, very, very high risk course of studies because first I want to start with the LSAT so that that way I can actually qualify for a scholarship that can pay most or all of the funds because I'm putting all my eggs in this basket. If I were to not score high enough, I can get dropped out and still owe the school, or you know the school fees that you have to pay after you graduate law school. Then the possibility of not graduating the bar or passing the bars in the California bar is considered the hardest in the United States. So there's a lot of risk here, but the reward is that I'll be able to provide a better life for my family, and I have a passion for being a father's rights advocate. I have a son with a woman. I haven't seen him since he was 1. He's 18 years old. I've tried all I possibly could to be there for my son, and I've been stopped at every opportunity I've had. I've been stopped. And I know that there's a lot of other fathers out there, especially in my racial community, that want to be part of their kids' lives. And I want to help more fathers get back in their kids' lives in like separate how good or bad the marriage was to just focusing on the child that needs their mommy and daddy together or their daddy and daddy or whoever the case may be. I just want to help fathers have a voice because it seems like a lot of us who actually do want to be daddies to our kids, it seems like a lot of us are overlooked and silenced. And I want to help, give a voice to the voiceless in that aspect. So that's where my passion is, and that's why I know I can't fail because I have to succeed because a lot of people are depending on me to succeed, including I want my son one day when he finally does come looking for me, I want him to look at me and go, "I'm proud of you, Dad." That is the biggest thing that I really want from him.
Thank you for bringing that in, Ross. Like, I'm feeling all this right now. Feeling all of you. Y'all, you're fantastic. We're coming up to like the top of the hour. We have just a few minutes here. Like, just know that I really, really appreciate all the perspectives you're bringing in here. Like you're talking to outliers directly, in what you do. What I want to do is make sure we have enough time here. And Outliers, I'll say this: if there's something that reaches your heart in any given way, I want you to do two things. One, find one other person that you really believe could benefit from listening to this conversation. We are a community of outliers. Like, we share these for a reason. Please share this episode with them. Please share this conversation and invite them to come be a part of it. Right. So we'll start off with that. And then the second thing here is really just for yourself here. Just come and come continue to play. I want to make sure you now know how you can continue the journey with each of the different outliers here on this conversation, and we'll just keep going from there. So why don't we do this here? What we'll do is I like to end here with each of us sharing an insight that we got from today's conversation, as well as how people can continue on with you. And the insight can be, I got no insight, so that's fine. You have room, you know. But let's share. We'll use this to wrap ourselves up for today, and we'll bring it all home. So why don't we go with Lisa, and then we go to Nicole, and then we'll just keep moving through.
One thing that stood out to me was the fact that it's okay if people don't share or, support me in the way that I think they should support me when it comes to my books. Because I definitely have friends that haven't bought my books or even share my stuff on social media, or, they do it in smaller ways or don't come to my festivals. And, it was really interesting to hear that that should actually just be okay, because maybe they have other things going on, or, I'm really the one that has to make sure I hype myself up sometimes. And, if I need to talk to the people in my family who do support me. So that was really interesting. And that kind of helped a lot with some feelings I had about that too.
Thanks, Lisa. And how can people continue on with you? How did they get their books up and so on?
Oh, my books are on Amazon. You can literally Google me. It's still very, very strange to me. My students always laugh at me because it's still very strange. But you can literally put my name into Google and you can get my website. You can get my Amazon. I'm on Facebook, Books by Lisa Jacovsky, Instagram, Diverse Ink Books, and TikTok is Lisa J Author 18. And I put all of my events, all of my podcast episodes. I share a lot of my author friends stuff too. A lot of really fun, cool stuff coming up. So, Google me or go onto my social media and check it all out and talk to me and interact. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. I love it here. Awesome. Thank you so much, Lisa. Let's go to Nicole, then Emmanuel.
Awesome. So you guys can stay in touch with me, and please do on Instagram. I'm at Nicole Sandalis. My website is www.nicolesandalis.com. Revive is a podcast on Spotify, Apple, anywhere you can get your podcasts. And the insight I got from today is that I'm not alone. I'm not alone in the fear of success. I'm not alone in the fear of failure. I'm not alone in the need for community and connection. And I'm not alone in the insecurity. And I think that's going to really benefit anyone that does listen to this. So thank you all so much.
Thank you. Emmanuel, then Tchassa.
Okay, the insight I got from today is that we can actually make valuable use of our passion. Now, I believe passion is a gift that has been given to us by the world. And what we choose to do with that passion is kind of it's kind of a gift we are choosing to give back to the world itself. In a sense, in the case of Lisa, you have a passion, you can as well make good use of that passion. You can use that passion and give other people happiness and give other people hope and give other people choices. So we might have passion, it might not be the stream of passion that bring us income, but it doesn't mean we kill it. It means we can amplify it and we can use it to give to the world as a gift. I really appreciate that insight. And if you want to reach me, my main channel right now is LinkedIn. If you just search for me, Emmanuel G. Umoh, you're going to see me right there, and you'll see other links to other of my social medias, which are active but not as active as my LinkedIn account. And my website, emmanuelumoh.com, is actually on construction right now. It's going to be up soon. So hopefully maybe before you're seeing this, it's already out. You can still check it out. I really appreciate you guys, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go to Tchassa, and then we'll wrap up with Ross.
Yes. The insight that I got today is really a reinforcement of an insight that has been really on my heart recently, which is that people don't look like their stories. Everyone here, like from the autism with cats, I've never in my mind would I look at Lisa on the street. I'm like, oh, she looks like an author who write books about autism cats. It would never cross my mind. Like Ross sharing his story about why he wants to be a father's rights activist. Emmanuel, I would see you on LinkedIn. I would not know that you're good at business. Like Nicole, I'll have no idea that you're dealing with insecurities, even though everybody deals with insecurities. So it's just that reinforcement of everyone's story. People's stories don't show on their face. And it's important to go in there to understand these people, to get to connect. And that's what I really appreciate this platform for doing that. All outliers definitely need more connection. And so I appreciate that. And to find me, similar to Lisa, you can Google me. I probably have a lot of content online. I've been putting things on the internet. I'm really pushing more for my YouTube channel now for whatever reason. I just like video. And so if you search Tchassa Kamga, you would find everything, and especially on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, all that is the same, except maybe Instagram where it's Kamga Reads Books, because as you can see, I love books. So, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And then Ross will complete with you. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, you can find my insight is that you should leverage your time. And it's important to like that is such a big thing right there, because a lot of times when we're in the pursuit of greatness or the pursuit of success, we end up forgetting about our families or the reasons why we're doing it because we're so focused on being successful. But it's important to recognize when certain things need to be done now and when certain things can wait. But don't push them off too long. Time management is a very important thing, but leveraging when something can be done and when something has to be done so that you don't miss the opportunities with your family or, me time or, not burning yourself out in the pursuit of success, because being successful at 80% is worse than being successful, or excuse me, is not as good as being successful at 100%. So it's very important for that. That's the insight I got for today for sure. And you can reach me on Instagram at thereal.kurtz.rj. Kurtz is spelled Kurtz. You can also look at my book on Instagram. You can look at my book at Amazon. At it's Soul Guardian by R.J. Kurtz, Kurtz, or you can Google the book as well. It comes up in lots of different places all over the world. You can also follow my podcast, Real Talk with RJ. It's last I checked, it was available in like 30 different countries. So I'm really happy and looking forward to making that grow as well. I love hearing the opinions of my readers because I love knowing what they think, what they felt, and what they saw when they were reading the book as well. So please check out the book. It's awesome, not just because I wrote it, but because seriously, every time I read it, I get excited. It's
That's
like,
awesome.
wow, it's
That's
such a
awesome.
cool opportunity. But thank you so much for having us on.
Yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you all for being here. And Outliers, like go follow them, continue down their path. And I can't wait to have you Outliers who are listening come and join us here on the show. Just know that for everyone that's here right now, I appreciate you, I respect you, and thank you for being you on purpose. Journey on.